Ado Ekiti. For advertisement and sponsorship, please visit the Nigerian Television Authority in Ilawe Road, Ado Ekiti. You can call Samuel on 0706 297 05. Weekend Diary, your ever-pleasing weekend breakfast show. That's break. If you just joined us, the program is still Weekend Diary on Nta Ado Ekiti. On this second segment of the program, we're going to be looking at declining reading culture and the standard of education in Nigeria. Readers are said to be leaders, and over the years, people who have cultivated the culture of reading have empowered themselves through knowledge garnered across various disciplines. But however, with the advent of the social media, reading culture has appeared to be on the decline, and this is having its impact on the standard of education in the country. And the declining reading culture and the attendant effect is our focus on this program this morning, is the declining reading culture and its attendant effects in our society. My guest on this program is a counselor and also a lecturer from the Department of Guidance and Counseling, Federal University, Nta Ado Ekiti. My guest is Dr. Chinedu Joseph. It's good to see you again on Weekend Diary, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, okay. All right. And like we said earlier, declining reading culture and the standard of education in Nigeria. I would like you to give a feel to this context. What exactly is reading culture? What does it entail?
Reading culture, from my own understanding, it's simply a description of the habit of acquiring knowledge, the habit of acquiring information, the habit of acquiring idea. It's a culture when it becomes a day-to-day thing, when it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a culture. Reading, first of all, let's just talk what is reading. Reading is just the process of acquiring information, acquiring ideas, acquiring knowledge, acquiring skill, if you ask me, acquiring ability. Then it now becomes a culture when it becomes a day-to-day activity, when it becomes a lifestyle, when it becomes an habit, when it becomes a must-do for an individual, when it becomes something you have to do, you have to read, you have to acquire idea. And if you ask me, we are all reading. It depends on what you are reading per time. We are all reading, and when we talk about reading has to do with acquiring idea from either a written text or a printed text. It could be, perhaps you may be reading from an image, you may be reading from a structure, you may be reading, for example, you went out and you saw a very beautiful building. Oh God, wow, what a building. You will check the color, you will check the structures, you will check how it was done. You are simply acquiring information from that building. So if you ask me, reading is what we do every day. As long as you are acquiring information, as long as you are acquiring idea, as long as you are judging, let me put it that way, as long as you are judging a particular outfit, as long as you are judging a particular presentation, as long as you are judging or assessing whatever, as long as you are seeing and you are picking an information from whatever you are seeing, if you ask me, you are reading.
All right, but in the context of education, as an education, like in your field, how would you describe reading culture? You generalized now, but when we talk about academics, when we talk about the core reading culture within the context of education, acquiring degrees, acquiring certifications and all that, what would you say is a reading culture?
Reading culture is the process of reading the materials that pertains to the goal you want to achieve.
Okay.
If you ask me now, everybody in the academic world reads, either intentionally or unintentionally. For example, either intentionally or unintentionally, people read. For example, a student preparing for text, whether he wants or not, whether he's intentional or unintentional, whether he sets a goal or not, he will, okay, what is this thing? What is there? What have we been taught? The student will have to read. So reading in the educational environment is just the process of acquiring information. If you're a lecturer, you have to read. Before you teach your student, you read. Before you set exam, you read. So the reading, there's hardly anybody in the academic sphere who is not reading.
All right. Okay.
Either with pretense, intentionally or unintentionally, you are reading. You have to know. Just like when I was trying to describe what reading is, there's no how you want to look at what is written here. Either it's intentional or intentional, whether in pretense or knowingly or knowing, you want to look at it. Okay, what do they have here? What do we have here? So everybody is
okay.
The reading
it now depends on the level of your reading, how in depth you want to go.
Thank you.
And
maybe you just
level
want to
of
skim.
Assimilation and your level of being able to practice what you.
Maybe you just want to pick information. Maybe you want to criticize. For example, a lecturer may be given a particular text, an article, to check if that article passes is of good quality. You will read.
All right. Okay.
You will read.
All right. Thank you very much. There has been this notion that there's a decline in reading culture in Nigeria. Let's bring it back to the academic world. Do you buy this idea? Is it true?
I don't agree that there is decline in reading culture, because just like I said, everybody is reading. The challenge, our intention, what we tend to present when we talk about decline reading culture is the outcome or our expectation of what we are expecting from somebody that is reading or who has read.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about, but it does not mean that people are not reading. They may be reading but not reading adequately.
Okay, that's the problem. Do you agree that people do not read adequately?
I agree that people are not reading adequately.
Okay.
For example, a boy got admission, was looking for admission, and he was given educational technology. And in educational technology, he had computer science as the teaching subject, as an option. But when he put in for the admission, he put in for computer science, but his JAMB score could not measure up, so he was not given admission in computer science. He had to be given admission in educational technology. And when he came in now, he had no other option as a teaching subject but in computer science. So when he got to computer science, he discovered that what they are doing there were not really big deal. They were things that
already
he could do. They were things, they were not really big deal. That's one instance. The second instance, he had a roommate who is a nursing student. And he discovered that the way the nursing student was reading was not really a big deal. These are things I can do. Why is it that my CGPA is low? Why is it that my... So, oftentimes, what we use to judge that reading culture is dropping is because of the outcome that people have. But oftentimes, the challenge is the goal that each person has, what each person wants to achieve. Reading culture is not dropping. People are reading based on their own... Hope I'm making sense. People are reading based on what the goal they've set for themselves.
Okay.
So it's not dropping.
Let's do this. Maybe when we do this, we'll be able to align and be on the same side of the discussion.
Okay.
How are you going to judge the level of, or should I say, the level of people you see around you? You are in the university. You see that when some of those people talk, you see that they are not making as much sense as those you have taught. Maybe, I don't know for how long you have taught.
Because
for instance, even tenses, you will see people who are in the university, they cannot make correct tenses. You will see people who are preparing for JAMB or preparing for whatever. Their parents will go and register them in a miracle center. You will see that obviously that this person has not passed through those processes. Someone helped him to get this mark. So what are we talking about? And it was not so. It has not been so in the 1999 before then, unlike what we have right now.
Because we've set objectives. There's an objective that we want them to attain. So when they are not meeting up to that objective, we can now say that reading culture has dropped.
Yeah. Has it not dropped? It has dropped. For instance, people who
are supposed to read.
Yeah, they read, but it depends on the level.
They read, but they don't read. They are not reading what we want them to read because we have set an objective for them. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because when you talk about reading culture now, you are just focusing on for them to pass chemistry, to pass physics, to pass geology, English, to pass biochemistry, to pass mathematics, to pass pharmacy, to pass medicine, to pass. That's just the reading culture that everybody is having. I'm just helping to change a very big perspective that we are carrying around. This generation is not very much moved by books. By just reading. Many of them are very good in art. They are very good in drawing. They are very good in so many different skills that does not always require them to carry this book that we are talking about. Many of them, if you tell them, okay, just draw out what a counseling room should look like, they will be very happy. But you tell them, give me 4 points about what should be in a counseling room, they will be angry. But tell them to draw it, they will draw. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that if you ask me, reading culture has not dropped because people are reading every day. These people that you said they are not reading, ask them the person that scored in the last Arsenal PSG match. They will tell you, are they not reading? They are reading. They are picking information. They are picking ideas. The challenge is that the goal has shifted. Not that reading culture has dropped. The goal has shifted. The intention has shifted. The objective has shifted. It's not that they are not reading. They are reading. Tell them, go and ask them forex exchange rates. They will tell you what is naira to dollar, what is euro to naira. They will tell you. Will you tell me that they are not reading? Go and ask them what is happening currently in USA, in America. They are reading. But the challenge is that they are no longer interested in reading your chemistry, your physics, your mathematics, your life science, your whatever.
All right. Thank you very much. I understand what you're saying, that a different kind of education is emerging. Yes, it's emerging. But I want to say this. For instance, there's this minimal requirement that is expected of everyone who wants to be educated in Nigeria. For instance, if I want to be a graduate, it is expected from me that I would have gone through secondary school, written WAEC, gotten 5 credits in English, maths, compulsory, and whatever other thing I chose as part of what I want to go and study. Then, if I enroll in the university to study nursing, there's this level of expectation that is expected of me, both from the school, my parents, and even the society. When you talk about all of this kind of other education that is emerging, why would I want to leave that education if that's my interest and go to study nursing when I will now study nursing and become a half-baked nurse? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
If you want to be a forex trader, then you do not have any business studying nursing. Would you study nursing instead of giving somebody injection here, you're giving somebody injection in this place? You don't want to be a doctor. Why are you wasting your 7 years in the university? If you want to toe that line, it is expected that this level expectation you should meet up with it.
I like the point you are making now. I've made my point. Now I want to dance to your point.
All right.
Based on the expectation, we want them to get this. This is what we want them to get. And when they are not getting that, we are not happy. We will now say that reading culture has
dropped. Yeah.
For example, a student that by 400 level. Okay, let me be practical now. As a 300 level, I had a student whose CGPA was 1.04.
Wow.
I don't know. I just, being the examination officer, I just stumbled it. I said, how will you be in 300 level and your CGPA? Don't forget what I'm trying to say, that I've marshaled my own point, my position.
I understand that a new kind of education is emerging. I'll buy that also.
So everybody reads.
Yeah.
So I was like, how will a student be in 300 level? First year, second year, 300, and your CGPA is 1.14. So as the exam officer, I had to send the person's matric number to their course rep. Please fetch this person. I want to see the person. The student came. Said, what exactly is the problem? Why are you performing poorly? So why I'm saying this is because we have a benchmark. So with that benchmark, we understand, this student is performing poorly. And the poor performance may be as a result of poor reading culture. But generally, people are still reading. You will find out that people in your church, they can read books about I want to remember all these big gospel religious book about all these great evangelists, prophets in the past, not Bible, but books written by God's general.
Yeah.
You will find out that youth in your church, they can read 4 general like 4 times. Why? Because many of them are seeing themselves as going into the prophetic ministry, evangelic ministry. I'm trying to tell you that people are still reading. Yes, what is happening is that there is a shift in what they want to read.
All right, let me ask you this. I'm interested in knowing what happened to your student. What was his reason for performing poorly? What I'm actually saying is that these things is just a ripple effect of what has been happening. You can imagine with the advent of so many private schools, and you know that most people who open private schools, they are opening private school for business. Even if they are not passing, they'll just let my people go. And with that notion, they go to secondary school. And when it is time to write WAEC, their parents take them to miracle centers, and the exams are written for them. Then they come up with a bogus certificates and good grades. Then they enter the university with that. Then they are aspiring to become lecturers, aspiring to become doctors, aspiring to become nurses, but they do not have what it takes to become all of this. My question now is, as a counselor, when you meet with those people, I also want to know what happened to that your student. Why is he that he's not interested in studying the course of study they've given him in the university, or what was the reason why he's performing below what is expected of him? Now, in the place of parents, from the aspect of parents and counselors like yourself, what are we going to do so that we do not keep wasting these children's time? Even the children themselves, are they willing to say, this is what I want to be an artist, or I want to be singing, I want to follow Davido or whosoever, I don't want to be a doctor. So then, and stand by and stick to it, then don't go and waste your 7 years coming out half-baked.
So let me start with my student. The challenge she had was that the interest to read was not there.
At all, to read at all. So what was she interested in? Did she tell you?
She did not.
Okay. Maybe you should go back and ask her what she's interested in.
The interest in reading was not there. And what brought about it was that right from 100 level, she was not performing very well. So, and once you are not performing very well, there is the way it affects your self-esteem. There's a way it affects your ability to begin to work. You will feel down. You will feel, I can't do this since I can't do it. So it's now piled up until she got to 300 level. Then concerning the second question, I think we need to start engaging in a chat with our children. We need to start engaging in a communication. My son, my child, what do you want to do? What do you want to study? We should stop looking at expectations. Most of the things we use to direct or guide our children into the courses or the career they choose is based on societal expectation. If you study medicine, you will become this. If you study this, you will become. Time has passed. I hope a time will come. I'll have opportunity to come and talk about career here. Time has passed when you have to judge by expectation that once you study this course, this is what you are going to get. Time has. We are far beyond that. And these children, either you like it or not, they are reading. They are seeing every day. The people, the person that had their first class in their community is the person that is doing POS in their street. So what would you make? How would you think?
No motivation.
No motivation. No motivation. And the person even tried for him to be employed. Oh, he was not given job. So how would you encourage such person?
All right, thank you very much. The whole issue is just should I say all-encompassing, linked to each other. I think you have to come back here
so that we can
to have more time to talk about all of this thing. We have agreed that there's a different kind of education people are reading, but not to the expectation of people. But when you choose to become what we expect.
Not when they choose. It's the society. That's what they are pushing them to. They want them to go and do chemistry. They want them to go and do medicine. They want them to go and do nursing.
Okay.
We have a student that enrolled for nursing in 100 level. By the time he got to 200 level, he has entered probation. And once you enter probation in nursing, the next thing that they will ask you to leave.
Wow. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Nta Ado, Joseph, a counselor and a lecturer from the Department of Guidance and Counseling, Federal University of Nta Ado Ekiti. It's nice talking with you. Thank you very much. Okay. And that will be much. We'll be able to take on this week's episode of Weekend Diary. Weekend Diary happens every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. And on this program, we'll bring issues of interest to the society, just like we had today. I urge you to keep a date with us every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. My name is Amaka Igwe. Good morning. Happy weekend. See you next week, Saturday. Goodbye.